In 2012, the Marvel Cinematic Universe revealed what has gone on to become its most iconic shot. No, not that one. This one. There, much better. The now famous 360, bringing the Avengers together for the first time, was the moment that fans have been waiting for. Now a decade since its release, I decided to find out how the shot was really born. On my search, what I discovered was not quite what you may be expecting, and it teaches us about the way modern blockbuster films are made. Now, I don't like to mess around when I'm on a hunt for information like this, so I went straight to the best man in the world to ask, Seamus McGarvey.
Who?
If you don't know the name, you probably should. Seamus McGarvey is the double Oscar-nominated cinematography master behind Nocturnal Animals, Atonement, and most importantly, The Avengers. Hey, that's lucky. Yes, the man in the know came on my Red Carpet Rookies podcast himself, and I just had to ask him about the making of possibly his most famous piece of camera work. I wasn't sure what to expect, but I thought perhaps it may have come from a brainstorm with Joss Whedon, or maybe a sit-down with storyboard artists. But that wasn't how it went down. Was it, Seamus?
That was actually, the first shot that when I met Joss Whedon in a coffee bar in Hollywood, he was interviewing me for the film, and he said, look, here's one of the silly shots that, as Joss can say, that the previous people have come up with. And he showed it to me on his computer, and it was like that. And he said, so that's what we're making, right?
Now you might be thinking, whoa, hold on. My favourite shot in the MCU was made up by the Previs people. I don't remember seeing directed by Previs people in the cinema. And you'd be absolutely right. But who are they? What are they? Previs, short for pre-visualization, is a technique used in modern filmmaking, like The Avengers, where scenes, camera moves and stunts can be planned out before the crew ever get to the set. You can see here an example of actual previs designed for the Avengers movie, where Thor kidnaps Loki from Iron Man and Captain America. Looking a bit like an old video game, it can be funny to watch, but you can see the grand moves of the scene are certainly there. Here it is in the final movie. Cool, right? So if Joss and Seamus didn't come up with it, who are these previs artists to be having a say in Marvel's most important shot? Well, you may not know it, but this is a very common occurrence in your favourite blockbuster movies these days. Previs can be designed months or even years before the film is released, and allows both the director and the studio a chance to gain an idea of what the film will be for a comparatively low cost. I.e., when working on big studio movies, the artists like Seamus can sometimes be restricted in what they can create. For example, Seamus, who is a keen lover of art house cinema, initially thought the Avengers could have looked very different. Could you tell us about it?
I remember in early meetings for the Avengers with Joss Whedon, bringing up Tarkovsky in a meeting, and he kicked me under the table because the producers were just like, their jaws were dropping. They were like, oh my God, is it going to look like that?
But unsurprisingly, the Marvel producers didn't jump to mould their movie to be like a 20th century director who redefined Soviet Union cinema. As we know, the Avengers 360 shot was decidedly more modern.
We actually shot those exteriors were all shot as an interior. So in a railway station, a railway kind of sidings in Albuquerque. And, I had to create ambient daylight. So that we had, I don't know how many, there must have been 20 18Ks bounced into white bounce to create a sense of daylight. And then we used all these sort of weird mirrors and to create the shards of light that you get in New York, all kind of scattergunned across the set. We did some shooting in the rail space in Park Avenue. But it was all done through the magic of CGI.
And that's exactly how the Avengers 360 shot came to be. The magic of CGI. It was a combination of both the green screen stage and the use of previs that Marvel created their most famous shot. Whether you think that's right or wrong, let me know in the comments, but Marvel's logic makes sense. With a tentpole movie and a huge franchise, the producers felt safer planning out what was likely to become an iconic image in popular culture. I, for one, love the shot and remember the feeling seeing it in the movie theatre for the first time. As often with my podcast guests, they can tell when a certain shot or scene has the potential to be iconic when they're filming it. And in the case of The Avengers, Seamus put it best when he said,
I think every film has a sort of the riff and that was it.
If you're a filmmaker or just a fan and you'd like to hear more lessons and stories from the world's most successful filmmakers and crew, make sure to check out my podcast, Red Carpet Rookies, where I've interviewed the likes of Deadpool director Tim Miller, Social Network cinematographer Jeff Cronenwith, Titanic set designer Peter Lamont, and many, many more. The link is in the description below. I'll see you next time.